Well, the hammer just fell on Rashad Richey. I'd love to take credit for it, but I can't. No, Nate the lawyer stumbled on Cam James's expose of Rashad's academic misdeeds and decided to do some research of his own. His own video is up now, and you can view it here. However, Nate did shout out to me and Fake PhD Investigator, and we appreciate that. In my last video, I showed how Rashad Richey has been trying to claim a master's in neuroscience from a Nicaraguan university that was shut down by the authorities 4 months before he graduated. I am not making it up. Apparently, Rashad never learned that Universidad Del Pacifico had been shuttered, as he tried to present this letter of acceptance as proof that his degree from there was legit. Way to stay connected with your alma mater, Rashad. At the end of my last video, I said that I would read a paragraph from Rashad's thesis to demonstrate just how ludicrous his research project truly was. That's why we're here today. The picture of Blue Boy from the Dragnet LSD episode? Did I not say that we were going to read Rashad Richey's thesis? Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dredd to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dredd Show.
Just as a word of warning, every day that you hear Rashad's theories is opposites day. Under no circumstances treat anything he is going to tell you as gospel. So, what's Rashad's thesis all about? Well, let's read the title. Quantum Physics of Neuroscience Contextualized Through Human Neurological Applications, a critical analysis of the Central Intelligence Agency's declassified gateway process. And yes, there was this pursuit of altered consciousness by the CIA back in the early 1980s. Apparently, a man by the name of Robert Monroe got heavily involved in out-of-body experiences and the wrong kind of mushrooms. In fact, the CIA report discusses the benefits of transcendental meditation, biofeedback, and yada yada yada. None of this ever went anywhere, but that's another matter. If this interests you, I'll link the CIA report in the description below. What interested Rashad was the impact of sound on the brain, especially in the area of what is known as Hemisync, which sounds out of sight, but anyone who's ever tuned a guitar will know what I'm talking about. When you pluck two strings that are close but not equal in pitch, you'll hear beats. The frequency of the beat equals the difference in frequencies produced by the two strings. And so you turn the tuning peg until the beat disappears, which tells you that the two strings are now playing at the same pitch. You can do the same with speakers. In fact, it's a popular demonstration in a physics class. Well, someone got the bright idea that if you aim two speakers playing at slightly different frequencies at a person's skull, the brain itself will generate its own beat frequency. And it will do all sorts of freaky crap. That's what we mean by Hemisync. Some researchers think that these brain-generated infrasound, very low frequency, beats can help those with Alzheimer's. And yes, Rashad was all over that in his brain-sick clinical study. You see, he actually performed a clinical study at a chiropractor's office on Alzheimer's, where he shined light in the patient's eyes and made her walk barefoot. Don't believe me? Go here. Okay, I think we can jump to a paragraph that shows what happens when someone thinks they know science, but really doesn't. And here we go.
The measurement of sound performed by investigators followed a traditional physics perspective, whereby scientists define this phenomenon as wavelengths produced by vibrating objects, which are then perceived audibly in the ear.
Vibrating objects don't produce wavelengths. They produce waves. These waves have certain lengths associated with them, sure. It's the distance from one wave to the next. That's the wavelength. A wavelength is not a thing that is produced. It's a measure of something that is produced. Even more concerning is his claim that sound is perceived audibly in the ear. No, sound is not perceived in the ear. The electrical signals from the ear are perceived in the brain because that's where the auditory processing part of the body resides. So Rashad, Mr. Neuroscience, doesn't understand human physiology.
Sound waves vibrate the surrounding air molecules and interact with them to produce audible frequencies.
Sound waves don't vibrate anything. The waves are the result of the vibration. Again, he has this idea that waves and wavelengths are material things.
Relatedly, the production of longitudinal waves propagated through media like solids, gases, or liquids occurs through mechanical compression.
Okay, fine.
When physicists and other scientists conceptualize sounds as wavelengths moving through media, they seek to bridge disciplinary gaps by applying widely publicized theoretical constructs.
Again, wavelengths don't travel. Links are not things. It would be like saying the distance from you to your grandma's house travels with you as you go visit her.
What about bridge disciplinary gaps by applying widely publicized theoretical constructs?
That's called word salad. I mean, technically true, but vacuous. And a theoretical construct, Rashad, is called a theory.
Frameworks like QFT, proffering that sound frequencies encompass all human existence, receive critical scholarly attention and undergo rigorous analysis in this article.
What? QFT stands for quantum field theory, which is not a framework. But more importantly, he's applying QFT to acoustics. But sound is not a quantum mechanical property. It's inherently classical. It arises only from the bulk properties of matter. What's with this sound frequencies encompass all human existence baloney? I mean, when we go into outer space where there's no sound, we still exist. Rashad doesn't know that sound and light are different things. He thinks sound is essentially light, but just at a different frequency. Sound and light are both described by wavelengths and frequencies, sure, and that's about it. Other than that, they have nothing in common. Somewhere along the line, someone told Rashad that QFT models space using quantum oscillators, which he thinks are things that actually vibrate. They don't. There is nothing there vibrating. However, when these oscillators come together to superpose in resonance, they give rise to matter. Stuff. In QFT, material things manifest from the piling on of quantum oscillators in harmony. I'm no expert in QFT, so that's as far as I'm going with it. Rashad hears this description of matter and thinks that the same should apply to sound. If these quantum oscillators combine to form matter, and something that is oscillating must be vibrating, then when sound combines, it also should form matter. That's what sound frequencies encompass all human existence means. But why is he so insistent on using sound in a QFT model? Well, that's where culture enters the picture. While ancient Egyptians didn't have lasers, they had music. And music is what? Resonance, interactions of sound. So ancient Egyptians must have understood quantum field theory. Let me be clear, you can't get further away from the quantum oscillator model of QFT than acoustics. There is no connection between acoustics and QFT. What about this rigorous analysis he's talking about? There isn't a single math equation in this so-called thesis. How could the analysis be rigorous? Math is the language of physics. You don't acquire physics understanding of a system just by verbalizing it. You have to do the math.
Yet, the research consensus is that sound waves reverberate and move through material to synthesize in the brain's electromagnetic field.
What? Sound waves synthesize in the brain's electromagnetic field? Dude, no sound wave travels to the brain. The sound waves vibrate the eardrum, which then sends an electric signal to the brain. The sound wave stops at the ear. Research consensus? Not a single physiologist would ever agree with such an inane statement.
A quantum physicist would contend here that how the mind perceives sound depends on how individuals choose to arrange and reconstruct sound patterns.
I'm a quantum physicist. I have no idea what he's saying here. Again, sound is not quantized. I have no idea how quantum mechanics even plays a role at all. So let me explain the difference between Rashad and me. I have some lofty ideas of my own, mostly having to do with uncoupling of Feynman diagrams and swapping frequencies and times and things like that. But I don't have the expertise in quantum field theory to go beyond just wondering. I don't try to pass my ideas off for fake degrees or go wandering around tables at Starbucks, blabbing on my newfound knowledge. Because not only do I not know whether I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that I'm not. The physics world is filled with minds far sharper than my own. That's a sense of humility that Rashad doesn't have. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.